Blessings, blessings to the people, blessings to the Most High, blessings to my ancestors, blessings to the universe, blessings to the Yeshua consciousness. So I have an update from my first video, and pretty much I posted the video on YouTube, I posted it on TikTok, and I also posted it on X, and it was removed off of TikTok, and it's not shown on X. So if I'm being shadow banned, then I must tell you something's real. You know, it's not a lie. It's nothing but the truth, the honest truth. So I wanted to give you an update on that. So why would one man be blocked? I'm talking about an organization that has millions of people in it. Only time would tell. Only time would tell. Okay, so let me get into it. I wanted to come in and give you an update on the day-to-day activities that I go through dealing with these cults, what you would call dark forces, Illuminati, Masons, EasternStars, and etc. Alright, so one of the first things I want to talk about, let me add on to the first video I've done. So when I came back from Africa, I was planning on going back to actually live there. I was thinking either Rwanda, Ethiopia, or Zambia was going to be one of the homes I was going to move to. I had some plans I wanted to, accomplish and get done, because there's so much opportunity in Africa that most people don't know about, unfortunately. The way they promote Africa as a continent is like a bunch of poor countries that have to get fed by their colonizers, But there's a lot of resources out there, of course, as some of y'all know. Gold, plenty of food that they produce, so many raw materials, uranium, everything. That Congo has many of those materials that we use for our phones in America and in China. So there's a lot of opportunity. But let me digress from that. So let me get back to it. So on my way back to America, I stayed with my sister, one of my sisters. And while I was staying there, I found out that she was an Eastern Star the whole time. And as I mentioned before, the Eastern Stars were one of the organizations that were attacking me and basically trying to, what you would call, destiny swipe with me. So it's interesting. I'll get into that in another video. For the ones that don't know, that's going to be most people. That's basically, as an earth angel, I have a certain destiny, and a certain destiny I'm supposed to fulfill. And I wasn't supposed to come back reincarnated struggling, I was already supposed to be wealthy, material wise, spiritually wise I already am, but material wise I was supposed to be wealthy, and that didn't quite happen. So it was destined for me to fulfill my destiny, which is showing the world what love is, connecting people. And obviously, the devil has interrupted that plan. But in the end, God always wins. The Most High always wins. So we just have to stay faithful, stay prayed up, and focus for the best. Because the worst is already here. Alright, so let me continue what I was talking about with my sister. So I went to live with her, and I found out that she was an Eastern Star. And I found out later on after I was getting attacked every day with spiritual warfare, harassment every day, some of the daily things that was going on was at work. Number one was work, right? I had cults at work. For some reason, I mean, not for some reason, but they would pretty much put me in groups and put me in like departments with cult members so they could keep their eyes on me, you know, spy on me, see what I'm doing, and report back to whoever the cult leader is. So the industry that I'm in particular, unfortunately, has a lot of dark forces in that sector, which is healthcare IT. And actually my friend of me that put me into the position I'm in now is a Mason. So I believe he's actually the cult leader, you know, that was coming up against me. So the whole goal was to push me away from my destiny, to fulfill that, for me not to fulfill my destiny. Because if I fulfill my destiny, which is bringing truth, love, and peace to the world, then what happens to the dark forces? They disintegrate, you know? They're wiped out. So in order to stop that from happening, you have to stop me and other earth angels. And even other people, you know, it's not even just earth angels. It could be anyone that's willing to take that step forward and bring in peace, love, and happiness to the world. So as I continue at work, it was a lot of harassment. People were ganging up on me, calling me a snitch. I mentioned this in my first video, calling me a snitch for reporting that they stole my cryptocurrency. So I'm a snitch because I reported that you stole my cryptocurrency and was trying to destroy my life. Okay, make it make sense. So that was one of the things that was going on. Another thing was sabotaging me behind my back, just making up rumors about me, you know, trying to put other people against me. Oh man, just so many things that was going on behind my colleagues telling. I caught a colleague telling another one of the people that we were training, one of the clients, that I was a snitch. So be careful, you know, be careful because he's a snitch. Like, what? So when I heard that, I was just like, man, this is real. This is a mess, man. I have to make sure I demolish everything that's in my way that's not the truth. So that's one thing I had to deal with. I had a manager from a job I recently completed in South Carolina. She recited something that I said in the first video. What was it? It was something I said in the sense of I was fighting for my life, and then like in front of me, she walked past me and she was like, "Yeah, I was fighting for my life." And I was just like, damn, like these people, man. Once you get the spirit, once you get a demon like attached to you, and you sell your soul, you can't control yourself, you know? You can't control yourself. Like, you'll put your career on the line just to get under someone's skin. Hey, only time will tell, right? Only time will tell. So, ultimately, these people, they think they're invincible because they have millions of members, you know? Cult members in there all over the world. All over the world, they have millions of cult members. I think in the U.S. alone, there's probably like, I think statistics is like in the millions, you know, between Freemasons, EasternStars. I don't think they like list like Illuminati and all that, bones and skulls and all that, but yeah, they have millions of members. So That's work. Now let's move on to the gym. Now while I'm working out, and I mentioned this in my first video, they get to the gym before I do because they hack my phones and my laptops, and they already know where I'm going. They know the days I'm going to the gym. They know what workout I'm about to do. If I'm working on chest, if I did chest the other day and now I'm doing arms, or if I did arms yesterday and now I'm going to do like back and shoulders. Like, they know like my routine, you know, because they watch me every day. So there's a lot of imitating. Like, there was a time when I was doing a headstand. I'm real flexible, you know. So I was doing a headstand, and I was in front of the TV. Now the TVs, they have cameras built in them. Just to give y'all a heads up, if you didn't know that already, they have built-in cameras. So they watched me through that camera, and I was doing a headstand. I was doing yoga, and I get to the gym, and there's a guy doing a headstand while I'm working out in front of me. I'm just like, these people are adult toddlers, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, once you sell your soul, it's over. It's like dead ass over, like, for real, because you don't control yourself anymore. Like, you gave yourself up to a spirit, and that spirit controls you. So they do wild stuff, like they do headstands in front of me. They do like weird stretches. Like, one guy, he was like putting his arms back and forth, like doing some weird stuff, man. I'm like, damn, like. And the reason why these people go to these cults is because they block people like me that's trying to show them how to love themselves, you know, how to be confident in yourself, you know. You don't have to go around trying to imitate me. You could be yourself, you know. You could be yourself. You don't have to idolize anyone. Be yourself. Believe in the Most High. They choose not to, you know. They want to be in groups and harass people all day. Okay. You'll pay for that. Spiritually and physically. You'll pay for that. And mentally. So when I'm walking at the park, that's another place. That's another thing I like to do, walk at the park. I was walking up the mountain the other day, and I noticed people were acting like they were on their phone. This happens to me. I already know the routines, right? Someone's on their phone, and they're walking down the mountain, and they have their phone like this towards me, and they're acting like they're on the phone, but really they're trying to get a picture of me. So this is like a technique that they use to like get your picture and do witchcraft on you. But that weak witchcraft don't work on me. I'm protected, and I'm sending that weak witchcraft back your way. You know, so whatever, right? But just to give you a heads up, or they'll walk past you with their phone like this, and for me, they know I know that, so they'll play around and try to get me. Show like they're really trying to take a picture of me or record me, but they're just playing around. You know, sometimes they're playing around, sometimes they're really doing it. I don't know if they get paid to like record me or take a picture of me. I don't know. Maybe not. You know, regardless, they're cursing themselves. Whenever you put witchcraft on an earth angel, you're cursed automatically. Your life is over. And you're only going to get karma. You shouldn't be doing witchcraft on anyone. Like, your life is done. And I can see why you're scrambling now, you know? But I'm going to win. The angels are going to win. The people that believe in the Most High or treat people with respect, they're going to win. So, at the parks, in the mountains and hiking, they like to follow me and just like be like little rugrats, you know, be like little parasites. So it's interesting, you know, just how wild these people are, how wild they'll do anything to save their little cult. Very interesting. So let me get to license plates, all right? License plates. So when I left Texas, I stayed in Florida for about 2 months. And on my way to Florida from Texas, I had to pass Louisiana. It was like a 11-hour drive, right? 10-hour drive. I had to pass Louisiana. I had to pass Mississippi. I had to pass Alabama. And to get in Florida. So on my way, what these cults, what they try to do, they try to like put fear in you, you know. So they'll put like your PIN number, like your debit card PIN number on the license plate. They'll put your date of birth. They'll put your combination lock pin on you. I mean, anything on those plates. They'll call me a spy on the plates. You know, just these people are truly kids. Truly kids, you know. So, you know, these techniques don't work on me, man. They don't work. But they try. So, just more proof that they're kids. So the whole time, the whole 11 hours I was driving, they were calling people up, different agents of darkness, to pretty much put different plate numbers on their plates. They'll get them made and then like drive in front of me just so I could see the plate number. And I'm just like, damn, what kind of life do these people live? These are the type of people that control the country, you know. And I'm not talking about like the president. I'm talking about like the people that's in like government, you know, excluding the president. Like I don't know. The president's not out here gangstalking people. That's what it's called, by the way, gangstalking. When you're going around, you follow people around and you harass them, yeah, and put up all these illusions like you're more powerful than you really are, yeah. But anyway, I digress. Let me move on to the next plot. Alright, so when I go to the park, I do something called sun gazing. And it's pretty much looking in the different corners of the sun, just like in a circle, you know? Without looking directly in the sun, you're looking in a circle around the sun, above and under the sun, right? And what it does is it helps with your connection with God. It gives you, you know, it helps you with downloads, you know, and information. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And interesting enough, what these devils do is they block the sun with chemtrails. So if you don't know what chemtrails is actually, it's the, you know, those planes that fly in the sky and you see like the white lines? Those are chemicals. That's pretty much what it is, chemtrails. So they use the chemtrails to put clouds around the sun. So wherever I go, when I'm at the park and the sun is out, they'll spray the sun to block the rays from the sun. And I'm sitting there, and in the background, I remember I was at the park a couple of times, and every time they blocked the sun, somebody be in the background clapping. Hey, welcome to my world. Like, it is, I deal with weirdos all day, every day. So welcome to my world. And I will get my justice. Like, there's no question about that. Like, this isn't going to go any further than where it's at already. Because, like I said, these people, they can't help but to do witchcraft. And that's where the trap is at when they do witchcraft. And it's sent back to them. And they can't handle that. Whatever they're doing, whether it's death and it goes to their family, or whether it's a binding spell, or whether it's like money spell trying to mess my money up, it backfires and actually messes their money up. Yeah, so regardless, it's gonna go back to them anyway, so I'm not really concerned. So when they come and take pictures of my eyes and send it to everyone so they can do witchcraft on me, my eyes is the trap. That's how God made, the Most High made me, for my eyes to be a trap. Hey, I'm the trap. I'm the bait and the shark. So it is what it is. They have been warned. But they're demonic. They don't have the Most High's protection. They don't have the ancestors' protection. So they had to conjure demons, demonic spirits, in order to go up against me and my ancestors and the Most High. And that's no match. There's no match. We overpower them. Alright, so let me move on. What else I have for y'all? I talked about the sun. I talked about the license plates. I talked about the chemtrails. Alright, so let me talk about the Airbnbs I was staying in. So, of course, when I left my sister's house, when I found out she was an EasternStar and she was working against me the whole time, I had to leave. I didn't leave immediately, but I left, you know. And like I said, I headed to Florida. So when I was in the Airbnbs that I stayed in Florida, like, it was crazy. There was one Airbnb. The first Airbnb I stayed in was in what's the name? Pensacola, Florida, right? And I only stayed there for one night. I just did like a pit stop. And I don't know if I mentioned in my first video that the way these secret societies work, they work in a sense of like networks, right? So they hack everything that you have, and then let's say Airbnb, for instance. When I sign into Airbnb, I can only book their network, which is everyone that has an Airbnb that's in that cult, that's a part of their network cult. Anyone that's in that cult, those are the only people I could book. I can't book a regular person, like someone that's not a part of the cult. You know, because like I told y'all, they have government connections. They have connections in the FBI. They have connections, of course, CIA, and a bunch of other networks, lawyers, attorneys, hospitals, you name it, you know. And that's not everyone. That's just they have their groups that are part of these cults. So when I went to every house that I went to, I hate to say it, but it's the reality, you know, it's the truth, you know, was a part of that cult, either way it go, you know. Whether it was one host or if there was co-host, one of the co-hosts out of the two was probably a part of the organization, the organizations that I'm talking about, the cults, cult organizations. So first house I go to is like 10 p.m. I reach Pensacola, Florida, and I walk into the ladies. First and foremost, when I went into the lady's house, it already smelled crazy. Then when she showed me the room I'm staying in, the room smelled like death almost. It was such a bad smell, and I really had no choice, to be honest. Like, it was just like they knew I was desperate. So when I booked her place, I don't know if her house already smelled like that, the room already smelled like that, or if they like put something in there, and then when I came, it smelled like death, you know, like somebody dead. So I slept in the room, but before I slept in the room, I noticed that the window didn't have like any blinds or any curtains or nothing. Like, it was just like the street, and then right across the street there was a Freemason across the street. And how I know is because he had his light on. He came outside and he was chilling, and he was like looking right at me, you know. So I already knew, like, this is a cult member. It's a no-brainer. So I asked her, I was like, hey, do you have like a curtain or something? And she was like, no, it's just like that, you know? So I took one of the covers and I put it over the window and I went to sleep. And that's how my first night on the road went, which was horrible. So I left that night and I traveled to Tallahassee, which was like 2 or 3 hours away from Pensacola. And when I went to Tallahassee, I went into an Airbnb, and the host wasn't there. It was like one of those Airbnbs where it was kind of like an open space, like only the visitors, like the guests, were the only ones staying there. So the room I was staying in, it was like in front of, like, it was like dead in the front, like on the street side, and the whole night, like, I couldn't even sleep because all the cars kept doing was room, 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 room. You know, they do like this noise campaign at, like, this is what the cults do. They do like a noise campaign. I mentioned this in my first video, where they just study making noise. So you never reading, you never meditating, you just never could concentrate because they're always trying to distract you, you know? So that whole night I did not sleep because they knew I was staying there and they were just making noise all night. I mean, it was horrible. So I left that Airbnb and I headed out to Jacksonville, Florida. And I was like, you know what, let me stay at a place where I can stay at least 1 month, you know, see what happens. So I tried to stay at a place for 1 month. I was being gang stalked there. So it was like a suite in a house, right? I had a bathroom, a private bathroom, a private living room, private bathroom, private living room. Let me see, private bathroom, and a bedroom, I'm sorry. So it was, you know, those three. It was a nice little place. And during the day, the host and her son, he's a military guy from what she told me, they were like literally trying to drive me crazy, right? I'm used to it now, but this was the first time it was happening. And what they would do is they would click on lights constantly, like consistently, just to drive me crazy. Just to try to drive me crazy, you know? Try to irritate me. And everywhere I would move, like let's say for instance, if I'm in the living room, then the host, she would be in the room next door, and you could hear her, like she was right there near the wall, like trying to listen up to everything I'm you know, doing. And if I'm on the phone, she's trying to listen in. And then if I go to my room, which is on the other side, the bedroom, then her son would be on that side, and he will listen to everything I'm doing, and he'll make the clicking noise, and it was just a mess, man. It was a mess. And I stayed there for 30 days, you know, so it was crazy. It was crazy. But they're gonna pay for that. They're gonna pay 50 times worse. Though I wouldn't be surprised if they go to prison, like straight up. When all this is said and done, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in prison. Because it was straight harassment, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they get charged with hate crimes too. Because a satanic cult is harassing and abusing an earth angel. That's a hate crime. Because what I believe in, and what I'm trying to do for this world, you know. So that's a hate crime in itself. Yeah. So I left Jacksonville, and I went to Orlando and Tampa Bay. And while I was at those two places, it was very interesting, you know. It was very interesting. I had a great time in Tampa Bay. I had a great time in Orlando. Everything was all good. I had no issues, you know. As far as Airbnbs go, yeah, I did have some issues. I had issues at one of the Airbnbs. There was actually an incident that happened, And the same thing was going on with the tapping and all that. All the same. Every Airbnb I went to, the same thing. Clicking and tapping and making noise and whatever. Like if I'm about to pray, someone puts the radio on loud. Just the craziest stuff, man. Just trying to like drive me crazy, hoping that they'll get reaction out of me so they can put me in prison, you know? Yeah, so Florida, almost every Airbnb was just getting harassed, you know? But of course I reported it, so we're gonna see what happens. You know? Like I said, you know, that anyone that like tried to harass me, they're not gonna win. Like I'm gonna be the victorious one, you know. Overall, I'm gonna be the victorious one. Like there's no way that the devil will win this fight, you know. Yeah. So I want to make sure I covered everything. Okay, grocery stores. Alright, so one of my favorite stores I like to go to, you know, I'm into health, you know, I'm vegan. I try to eat salads. I try not to cook much, you know. Try to eat after 12 o'clock. I try to detox at least 4 times a year now. So I try to balance out, stay energized, drink a lot of water. And so when I go to the grocery store, one of the things that I noticed was people follow me around. If I leave my cart somewhere unattended, these little adult toddlers, they'll take something out of my cart, like some grapes, and they'll throw something else in there. So by the time I get to the checkout, I'm getting stuff scanned, and I notice my grapes are not in there. It's like some oranges or something like that, you know. So these people are kids, man. So they follow me around. They want to. So all the harassments with following me around everywhere and stuff like that. They basically want to see if I know anyone. They want to see if, like, I'm talking to any agents, any good agents. We ain't talking about like the devil's agents. We're talking about people that actually help people, you know. So they want to see, like, they want to know everything that I'm doing, like every single thing. So that's one of the tactics, you know, follow me around the stores, and they want to make sure you feel their presence, all right? So their best thing, like I said, to do is like to hold their phone up and to make sure you see their phones and etc. You know, but I told you I'm not afraid of that stuff, man, because it's a trap. When you take a picture of my eyes, that's a trap. You're only gonna sink, and it's only gonna empower me when you send an energy my way. So good luck with that. So yeah, the grocery stores, and then I notice now they've been sending like women to like come up close to me, you know, trying to like get me to like run into like the devil worshiping like women, you know, EasternStars and stuff, you know. Like, come on, bro, like, stop it. I've been celibate for almost 2 years now, almost. Like, I don't just have sex with anyone, you know. There was a time when I was out there, you know, messing around and having friends for benefits and stuff like that. But come on, man, I done grown out of that. Knowing what I know now, like when you have sexual intercourse with a witch, that witch can easily like access your intuition, and that's the last thing you want to do is have, like, even a warlock. Like if a warlock is having sex with a woman, right? If you're a woman, you're having sex with a warlock, he can access your intuition, you know. And you don't want someone to do a death spell on you that has access to your intuition, you know. Not saying that the Most High won't protect you, but you have to like take all precautions, you know. So I'm blessed to know that, hey, if I'm gonna have sex, then I have to make sure that I'm willing to get to know the person. Like, there's not gonna be any one night stands going on, you know. This doesn't even like exist with me anymore. I recommend, no one night stands, y'all. Get to know the person first. Make sure they're not a part of these cults. Because, like I said, once you exchange sex with someone, man, the witchcraft can actually work on you, Remember that story I said in the first video? I mentioned that a woman that I was dealing with, that I was dating, when she was doing her witchcraft on me, she was literally, I was asleep. When I woke up, she was literally levitating over me. I mean, if I didn't wake up, what would have happened, So just be careful. Be careful with the people you date, And there is so many witches and warlocks out here, especially before I left Houston. Houston is like the grounding. It's like the ground for these people, man. We already know about New Orleans, right? We already know that, right? Even New Orleans people could tell you, this is the place where witchcraft go down for real. So, Houston is right next door. It's not far, A lot of people go back and forth from both places, doing witchcraft and stuff. So, just be careful out there, Let me check and make sure I didn't leave anything out. Yeah, so thank you for your time. I hope I cleared up some things. Like I mentioned before, my video was erased off of TikTok, and X is not showing on X. The only places it's showing on is Instagram and YouTube. And I posted it on Facebook too, but all of them are being shadow banned, which really, I don't know if y'all know what shadow ban means. Pretty much you're blocking my videos from being seen by people, If you can't see it, if you don't have access to me, then you're not going to know my videos even out there because they're blocking it. So, like I said, that goes to show you what's really going on. They don't want the truth out there. I'm not the first person. I'm not going to be the last person, I've heard YouTubers complain about this, and it is a big deal, It will trigger something in you, but you have to keep moving forward, You have to keep moving forward. So I wish everyone the best. Blessings to everyone. Please pray. Stay positive. Stay motivated. Stay positive. Use your intuition and use your discernment when you're meeting new people. God bless. Thank you.